Hi everyone, welcome to the Infinity Wealth YouTube channel. Now, before we get into this video, it would be really great if you can hit that like button and also subscribe to our channel, especially if you're new here. We do release videos regularly on how to grow your wealth. Lastly, hit the bell icon as you'll be notified every time we release a video.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Infinity Wealth. What do you reckon? It's too bright, Matt. It's too bright.
You're looking at your future, mate. That's what you're looking at.
That's what it is. That's what this one's about. Future tech. So there you go. Look. I need the gun, right? I need the gun.
You do, yeah, you do.
I need the gun, mate. Yeah.
You need that to be
the only problem is I'm a lot shorter than he is. That's the only problem, really. Come on. Come on.
I think your looks make up for it, Martin.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
This is super. Have you seen Philip Green? Did you see Philip Green in the papers?
No.
You know, Arcadia's gone, right? Arcadia's gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Dorothy Perkins, Debenhams. Yeah. It's a real shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, he took out loads and loads of money out of Arcadia Group. But yeah, he was pictured in the papers, you know, walking along Monaco. Yeah. So he had his glasses up like this, you know.
Oh no!
I broke my bloody glasses. Look at that! Live, we broke the glasses.
Guys, we're gonna set you up a GoFundMe to get your glasses replaced.
All right. So tell everyone why we needed to do this second take.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the video, so we actually recorded this earlier this week, and everything came out terrible. The video, the audio, my internet was also really bad. So we've both invested in decent, better tech. Got new webcams. So do we look HD? Tell us. Do we look a bit better?
Yeah, exactly.
Our voice is clearer. So hopefully.
One thing I've got to add, it ain't improved your features, mate. What can I say, man? What can
I say? Okay. We know someone's getting jealous, everyone.
Oh yeah. The younger one wants the older one.
Yeah. Cool. So obviously,
what are you going to talk about today, mate?
Today we got a very interesting topic. So the one video that we re-recorded, you obviously know by the title now, is on artificial intelligence. We're looking at AI stocks in this video. So that's the new sort of stocks that we were going to talk about. When I said previously, obviously we had an EV update last week, which was due. Obviously, if you've seen the market, you know what's happening. But putting that aside, we're now looking at AI. We're looking at our new stocks now. And again, things for the future, Martin. You know, we're really looking at things for the future. And we just obviously, I'll just briefly, if you don't know, most of you most probably know what AI is already. If you don't know, you know, AI refers to the artificial intelligence. It's complex software that performs tasks, you know, like problem solving, nuances of speech, and it has a human-like creativity. And the main thing is AI learns. It's a learning machine, basically. It learns, it grows. It's almost like a human brain. It's essentially machine learning is what it is. So if you don't know that already, that's what AI is. Now, just to give you an example, so you know where this is in practice, you know, Google's predictions, AI predictions, whether it's marketing or Google Maps, you know, advertisements that you see, all these sort of things that are happening are all AI. You know, you either search for things, or sometimes you even speak to your phone or like say something, and then it picks up and it advertises those things to you. But like Google Maps, you know, it can detect the speed that your car is going, or artificial intelligence. Tesla's autopilot is another example, you know, self-parking, even other cars, self-parking, automatic lane changes, navigation, etc. Your more traditional ones.
Autonomous driving, yeah.
Exactly. And your more traditional ones, you might not know that what AI, but are like our email spam filters and like categorization. So they are, and obviously Google Home and Alexa and Siri and all that sort of stuff. So they are sort of examples of where AI is used, basically, in artificial intelligence on a day-to-day basis. So what we're looking at in this, so that's put aside what AI is, an example. What we're looking at is the future of AI. So obviously also going to be talking about stocks. Now, obviously AI is an industry that is really sort of, again, another industry that is scratching the surface in terms of the future. We spoke about this, me and you, Martin, spoke about this before. Like there's a lot of industries, blockchain, crypto, and all these, and all sorts of, and even like I was discussing with one of my colleagues that even the internet, we've got into the grasp of the internet now, but look how long it's taken us. Like cloud-based, so much stuff is very easily accessible, but only really in the last decade or even half a decade has things really accelerated in terms of internet services. We can just watch everything online, we can play everything online, everything is like available. We don't need storage, hard storage, we got cloud. So it's like, it's an industry that's sort of scratching the surface. I don't want to keep bringing on Elon Musk. He must come across as my favorite guy or something. Obviously after you, Martin, obviously after you.
Like,
But
I was getting a bit jealous there, mate. I was getting jealous. Yeah.
I had to clear that, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But not to bring him up again, but an example of the future of AI is what Elon Musk is working on, another company called Neuralink, or another one of his 100 side projects. It's basically a neurotechnology company. They develop implantable brain machine interfaces to solve first stage, like neuro level problems like blindness and serious problems, like brain diseases. And basically the long term goal is like, using this AI technology to basically enhance human beings. And I mean, he's got some mad stuff like cloning and all that kind of stuff. We don't want to go into that. That's not the point here. But the point is the future of AI is very, very vast. It's not just in tech and tech services, but even in healthcare and some of the industries I'll note it in a bit, where AI is sort of working. So, again, even in cryptos, like, imagine blockchain and then AI, then two wrecking sort of like crazy wrecking industries, and then they combining together. It's going to be like some serious wreckage going on. But you get the point. The future is massive. Like, we're not even thinking close enough to what could be possible. So just before we go into
Elon Musk, he himself with AI, he was against AI and saying how he could destroy mankind, basically. And again, and it's not Terminator stuff. It's basically how it can reduce the number of jobs out there, right? Because AI now they're looking at, pretty soon you'll be able to go online and you find a GP. And it will be able to diagnose based on the symptoms and what you're giving them. It will be able to diagnose what symptoms you have and what what you potentially could have. And so and also operations. Surgeons, AI. In the future, and I'm saying in the future, you could be lying on a desk where a laser's cutting you open and taking bits out. Very much like, it's very sci-fi now, right? That's where we're moving, right? Which is hence the sunglasses. Although, hang on, now that I've improved my sunglasses, it's a bit like Arnie. Can you remember the film where he got like that? So I've improved it.
You have. You're taking on multiple roles.
So I've improved it. But yeah, sorry, just carry on.
That wasn't scripted for the video, by the way.
No, it wasn't. But nothing that we do is scripted. It's all fresh. It's what comes out of our brains at the time, right?
Exactly. Completely.
We don't like scripting. We just like talking off.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Like you said, Marta, it really is like interesting to see that sort of transition for even Elon Musk. He's come to sort of realize as well, and they're utilizing AI. And I think obviously everyone has his own opinions, but I feel like obviously there's a commercial side to it, but he's used to utilizing a lot of things in the sort of the right way. He seems to be giving a lot of good solutions that are big problems. But anyways, that aside, we talk enough about Elon Musk.
And I've got to add that this was when I was going to talk about stocks that was going for the future, the next 5 years. AI and Kiki stole my thunder, mate. Right?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
He actually came up. He went, "This is what we're going to talk about." I went, "Oh, okay, I was going to talk about it at some stage, but not now. But yeah, at some stage. But okay, so at least we're staying on the same wavelength, right?"
No, that's true actually, because we've spoken about a lot of things, a lot of EVs, biotech, normal stocks, and we've never actually spoken specifically about AI between ourselves. So when we both sort of like, when I sort of said, "Oh, Martin, let's do AI this week," you're like, "Oh, that's it, mate. That's it." See, I'm learning from the master.
It's rubbing off, mate. It's rubbing off. That's what it's
The
doing.
young apprentice. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, tell me
Um,
about the stocks that you've been looking at then.
Yeah, so well, before I went to go into the actual stocks that I'll be looking at, I wanted to talk about some stocks, AI companies that are not listed on the stock market yet, which may be ones that we can look out for. Now, I'm not going to go into what these companies are. You can go and look at these yourself, but what I will do is list them in the description below, so you'll see the blog link and you can go and look into them. Now, the reason why I'm telling you about these companies are not listed on the stock market. So if they do become big enough and get enough funding to become big enough and also profitable, they may IPO basically. So they're ones to look out for. I don't think any of these have any planned IPOs from my knowledge. I may be completely wrong because I haven't looked into these too much. And again, that's not the main point of this video. But so these are UK based. I kept it UK. I didn't want to
That's
go
really
too
good.
wild.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kept it UK. I didn't want to go too wild. So UK-based AI companies that are not listed on the stock market. Again, these companies could IPO, they could not, but they are basically AI focused. Improbable, and these are the sectors, by the way, what I was mentioning. Improbable, which is a cloud computing and gaming. GraphCore, which is also cloud computing, but also semiconductor company. Darktrace, which is cybersecurity. Beloved AI, which is neuroscience. Bipla, which is augmented reality. Babylon Health, which is healthcare. Qubit, which is analytics. And XMOS, which is semiconductors. And many, many more, obviously. These are just 8 that I've listed. Again, you can see these sort of industries we're talking about. So AI is not just an industry itself, it's going to be utilized so think of the internet. Internet is not an entity itself. People and companies use the internet. It's essentially a tool, basically. So there are companies of those. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into now which stocks are we looking at in terms of AI, which ones are on the stock market. Now, the truth is AI stocks are quite rare and rarer than you would think. There's not actually many companies out there that are in, like primarily prime AI focused, basically. There's AI technology initiatives, and there's companies that use AI. So basically, what we do have is companies that use AI to enhance their current operations, basically, or add on to their current operations. So high profile application like robotics, self-driving cars, smart voice assistants like Google and Alexa and stuff. So again, Google, not an AI company, but they will use AI to enhance their services and products, basically.
Google again with they're creating their own semiconductors.
They got yeah.
I know
That's
you'll
true.
go on to it. You probably go on to it.
Yeah, well, it's a sister company, right? They're doing it under or something.
Yeah. But it's part of the Google network, so it's not going to be sectioned off anything, but it's something that they are looking at.
Exactly.
So they become chip manufacturer for themselves for AI tech, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is massive, actually. Which is
Absolutely.
quite underrated.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've listed some of the companies that are involved in the AI space, but not necessarily, again, directly AI companies themselves. So these are some of the top 3 that I've picked. Again, I've dropped a link in the bio, which you can read an article which has loads more. I'm not going to go into all of them. This is just to introduce this concept to you and the kind of make you aware of the companies that are doing this. So Nvidia is one. They've taken massive advantage of the AI boom with its graphics card becoming like their graphics card are becoming like almost the standard in data centers around the world. And also, actually, Nvidia also has a big focus on self-driving cars and providing hardware and software that can power driver assistance features as well as full self-driving. So they're a massive player in that market as well. So not just in there. Yeah. So not just in there, like Nvidia obviously is known for their computer hardware, gamers, especially if you're a gamer.
Their graphics cards, but it's not just the graphics cards. It's their technology now for AI technology now. They've moved on to another step. Yeah. 100%.
Exactly.
Are you gonna show some graphs as well, right? Some charts.
Yeah. So we'll show some charts of these. So I'll explain what they are first and tell you, and then we'll go through some charts and look at them. So that's Nvidia. They're and what their services is and how they're involved in AI. And the next one is IBM. Now we've all got personal.
I'm not a big fan of IBM, but there you go.
Yeah, again, guys, this is not. Remember, this is not investment advice. This is just education
Educational
and
and
entertainment
learning.
purposes. Yeah. So we're not saying anything to invest in these companies, and we'll also go through the charts to explain why the companies that I'm listing there may not all be a good investment. Now, coming back to IBM, obviously not. It's definitely not mine and Martin's like up their favorite, but equally is not a company that we can ignore. The reason why is IBM's strategy of AI has been to apply their technology in augmented human intelligence. They're increasing and lowering cost in the healthcare industry, which is massive, right? So they're basically AI is being used to create care plans, is to bring new drugs into the market and improve the quality of care. And we all know healthcare is a massive, it's a massive business already. And imagine AI, it's like steroids times 10 putting AI into that sort of business in terms of what it can do for that company. And the reason why we don't want to ignore IBM is the fact is that IBM is actually the leading in the industry for actually generating profit in the AI space. So in 2018, they generated over $2.5 billion in revenue from AI alone, giving it basically giving it the largest market share in the industry, basically. So
it was just one of the points. Yeah, I know. Talking about IBM. Look, when Kiki comes to the graphs, yeah, you can see it's in a downward trend. But that's not to say that IBM. Yeah, a lot of old companies can reinvent themselves, right? They can reinvent themselves, and all of a sudden their share prices will take a rise on the up. So I'm glad you brought it up, 100%. Although the share is showing it's going down, but it's something that to keep in your awareness, right?
Yeah,
it's something definitely to keep in your awareness, because if it does start ticking up, and there is start talk of IBM and AI tech as well, and suddenly everyone goes, oh, actually IBM doing it, then to go on it on that time.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I completely agree, and I think that's that. Again, so we'll look at the charts to show you that exactly as well, what we're talking about there. But the next one is Micron Technology, which is obviously a big player. Yeah, definitely, which obviously is a big player, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Like, you just can't know them, especially if you're even just got a bit of knowledge on tech. Again, manufacturers their chips, memory chips.
The thing is, a lot of people won't have heard of Micron Technology. They may be using their products all the time, but I would have thought the vast majority of them. It's a chip manufacturer at the end of the day. It makes memory, right?
Yeah.
And how it's connected with AI is that AI is memory is needed for artificial intelligence. Never forget that.
Yeah.
Because artificial intelligence is
just like your brain. Just like your brain.
Right. So we need a memory. So how to process that. And Micron are you've got different types of memory, right? You've got RAM, all sorts of different types of memory, and Micron are very, very good at. They've got the best memory as far as AI is concerned at the moment, right? So they are market leaders in that, and the graphs will show how much of a market leader they're in that, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, the graphs will definitely show. Basically that's Micron, and then there's a few others that I'll list. I won't talk much about what they do exactly, but they are definitely involved in AI. Docusign, which Marttand, I know you use, right?
Yeah. Property people, all of us use it, basically.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't know what Docusign is, basically it's contracts. You send over a document, send over a contract, get people to sign it. Other companies such as ServiceNow, which are a enterprise software maker, they're doing AI acquisitions, and obviously like a very basic company that you might not, everyone would know, is like Netflix. Netflix uses AI to personalize its internet TV. So a lot of people are using, or maybe even investing, if you're doing that well, in companies that are using AI already. So that is the way we're sort of looking at this market, and how do we get involved in AI is by looking at companies that are using AI on a heavy basis. Now, what I wanted to do here is that is sort of a sum up in terms of the stock. What I wanted to do here is clarify three things here, because there's three sort of types of companies that are either involved in AI, are AI, or are acquiring companies that are doing AI basically. And the reason why I want to do that is because, and I want to explain to you the reason why there's a lot of companies that that are pre-stock, massive sort of market, not on the stock market, and not really that profitable compared to companies that are big like IBM who can afford to invest in AI, is literally because it's a very expensive market, especially to test and trial it. Now, if you think about it, it's much easier to raise money from an investor if you're investing in property. Like if I was in comparison creating an AI company, purely AI company, it's very difficult to get proper deliverables, proper companies using your platform, because again, we're at the very beginning of the industry, right? It's like what happened with the internet, right? Like there's not many use cases right now which are easily applicable. So we're in that sort of, and it's not something that any company can take on. A property investor can't take AI on all of a sudden and start putting AI into his company. Whereas now the internet is in that phase. Anybody can take the internet on. Any company can now be on the internet and utilize the internet. So if you think of it in that sort of example, that's the reason why there's not too many companies, or to be honest, not even 2 or 3 companies that are big that are specifically AI. So what is happening is you've got companies like IBM who are heavily investing with the money that they've made outside of AI into AI, because then they will definitely become market leaders. Again, IBM being one of the biggest in the industry right now. Huge company, huge profits, got enough budget to put towards AI invest. Second are the companies that are acquiring AI companies. So these would be companies that basically go out and see these small companies and say, okay, yeah, we'll buy you, you're doing a good job, let's build something together. So that would be the second type. And then the third type will be, again, those small companies that are just focused on AI, that may, which is what I mentioned at the beginning, which may IPO, so keep an eye on them. So they're the 3 types. So just as a summary, 1, companies that are big and investing in AI. 2, companies that are not involved, but they're buying companies, those small companies that are AI. And then 3, those small companies which may IPO if they go profitable, etc. So that's that in a nutshell. Was you going to say something there, Martin?
Yeah, I was. What I was going to say is the way to look at AI is obviously hardware, right? Software, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the way we were looking at, like, Micron would be hardware, right? IBM would be really high hardware. Some of the companies that you've mentioned are software based as well, right?
Yeah.
So there's different ways of actually investing for the future in AI. Right.
Exactly.
Remember, I talked about, when the gold rush was out there, people were going out digging for gold, but it was the actual people who were supplying them the picks and the shovels who made the most money, right? So that's why certain companies like Micron Technology, Nvidia, their products are going to be in demand. But the thing is, these businesses are they're cyclical businesses, right? So when the stock market or when the economy is doing really well, they do really well. But they also suffer from gluts as well. So when I say gluts, is oversupply. So if there's a recession, all of a sudden they built all these chips and they can't turn these plants off. So they've got a oversupply of chips basically. But where Micron will differentiate themselves is that they make specific chips for AI as well. Chips are really good for AI. So obviously they'll insulate themselves a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. That's a really good way to sum it up. So we can go into a few charts. Martin, there was a chart that you wanted to share. Do you want to share that one?
Oh,
yeah. That was really good. Interesting. So
okay. So what I was going to say to guys is, look, one of the things that our channel is all about building wealth, right? And one of the ways to build wealth is, if you saw any of the talks that I've given, I always say, look, people have become wealthy in not just investing in property, but also stocks and shares. When you look at, the FTSE, the Sunday Times Rich List and places like that, a lot of people diversify. They invest in other vehicles, right? So they hold bonds, they hold this, they hold stocks, right? So one of the things that occurred to me was I started researching and looking at stuff basically. So one of the charts that's interesting, I'm just gonna share my screen. Is that right?
Yes.
Share screen. There we go. Can you see my screen, Kiki?
Yeah, I can see my. Yeah, perfect. See it now.
You're along here, mate. There you go. I'm gonna tuck away in that corner. Okay, so this is UK house prices, right? So going back to, I think this goes back to the 70s, right? And how the FTSE 100 has performed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see as things that, a lot of people are always one-minded. You shouldn't be one-minded, right? So if you look, stocks and shares have gone up as well as property. Certain periods, stocks have performed far better than property, right? In other periods, properties perform far better than stocks. Eventually, they come to a meeting. Look, they rise together. Okay, this is the dot-com bubble, right?
Yeah.
Lo and behold, it came back down. They both met again. They rose again, right? Once again, this is the financial crisis. Property didn't come down as much. It did come down, but not as much. It came down as much, and look, lo and behold, they rose again, right?
Yeah.
Now what's been happening is, I know we've only got to 2017. Unfortunately, this is the most recent. I will look for other graphs, but I did it on the fly, right? Because it was an idea that occurred to me. So if you look now, property prices have gone way over. The FTSE 100, do you remember I said to you, Kiki, everyone's missing something. They should be buying stocks. Forget property at the moment. Forget property at the moment. Buy stocks because you're going to get a bigger bang for your buck, right? So, yeah, we had the stock market going to about 5,500, which will be around about this sort of figure there, right?
Yeah.
So it dropped. We all know house prices haven't come down, haven't actually gone down at all in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah.
The contrary has happened. In fact, they've been going up because of short supply. Flats, on the other hand, are different, right? So when you see something like that and you see a divergence like that, it's a case of, if you're not a case of smart, if you know what you're doing, know the cycles, and you can say, do you know what? It's time to invest in this vehicle. Because just like a lot of property investors go, well, property always doubles in 10 years, right? Or it goes up over a period of time. So do stocks. So do stocks. They've gone up at different levels at different times. So it's a case of changing from one vehicle to the other vehicle, which is why, I when the stock market crashed, and if it crashes again, please buy it, right? Depending on what levels, but I would be an absolute buyer. I'm waiting for it to crash again. Right? Another chart that I wanted to show is, so, I don't know if we can expand this. I know I just nicked this off another. So, the returns over the returns since 2014. So this is the Halifax returns, equities, UK equity. So you can see that they've been pretty steady, right? So house prices have returned far more, right? That's annualized. That's how much they've returned. But with the stock market coming down, crashing, this is why I said, look, when you look at property at the moment, I can see. I'm not saying that property is going to crash. Please don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, on a basis of bigger bang for your buck, where would I invest? Right? And I am a property investor. I'm 100% property investor. But I also think, well, do you know what? I think I could probably make a bit more money here, right? So that's what I'm looking at. The other thing I look at is cycles. Right. Again, I will try and get better charts of this. Right. When you're looking at stocks and shares have a cycle. Right. And the cycle that you have to think about is the human emotion cycle. Right. There is the euphoria that everyone goes to. Oh yeah, nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go. That's when you're selling. Right. That's when you're selling. Going, actually, these guys, forget it. Right. I'm selling now. It's peak optimism. Right.
Yeah.
I buy at peak pessimism, right? And I sell at peak optimism, right? And this is the human cycle, basically. So human beings, they hear something, they jump on it. Similar to Tesla, right? We talk about Tesla, we talk about crypto, but everything has a cycle. Right, and it's understanding, using charts, using where the cycles are, you'll be able to gauge a better entry point. Right, which is one thing that I want to try and explain to people from our channel, saying, listen, you can make money in both in property as well as stocks and shares. You've just got to be sensible about it and doing it. And it's not rocket science. It is not rocket science. It's just understanding the human emotion of fear and greed. right?
Yeah.
If you understand the human emotion of fear and greed, you have to be brave when everyone is fearful, right? And you have to be fearful when everyone just thinks that nothing can go wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's those cycles that I wanted to, that I will in future videos as well, that I'll talk about as well, Kiki. Yeah.
Yeah. That was very interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
No, that's right,
Thank
mate.
you. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to show you,
Perfect.
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen now. So what we'll do is we'll just go through a few of the charts. So these are the companies that we spoke about in terms of um, the three biggest stocks
Okay.
for AI, the ones that invest in AI. So we'll start with Micron first.
Yeah.
So we can look at that. So this is on a weekly time frame, Martin. So this.
At all, Kiki? Can you make it?
Say that again.
Can you enlarge it at all?
Yeah, like this
No, I meant your whole screen, or
whole thing.
yeah, the whole screen.
As in, you're not seeing my whole screen.
No, on mine it's just come up small. It's okay. No, okay,
Okay.
it's fine. Yeah.
It should be in the recording. It should be the whole screen.
Okay.
So this is the long-term chart basically
Sure.
for Micron. So as we saw, or not as we saw, as we can see, it's absolutely flying at the moment. It's really going up. And what we really want to look at here is really since this sort of 2013. If I just sort of highlight this, since 2013, we've been very, very bullish. We've had series of high, low, high, low. We've not really come back down before. And I think this is, Martin, what we were saying. Where companies can sort of reinvent.
That's the dot-com bubble, right?
The dot-com bubble, exactly. Yeah. So what we were saying before is where companies can go through these sort of crashes, and that's when we're sort of looking at. So just referring to that sort of emotion. But what we want to see here is with this dot-com bubble, we come down, and now we're sort of nearing. And if anything, we're coming very, very close, if not pretty much already there to like the almost highs. But I would say like here where we had most saturation, right?
What you find is that would be, when you get to that level, that will be a pretty long-term resistance level.
Yeah.
And then you'll expect a reaction and a pullback at that level.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're looking at, and at this time, we're just bulling, we're just going up. If anything, I personally would be looking for some sort of retracement, some sort of pullback.
And then buying in. So have you got a 4 hour at all?
Yeah, definitely. So here's on the 4 hour.
Right. So as you can see, that on that 4 hour, it's following. You use 9 days and 5 days, don't you, Kiki?
I use dailies, 4 hours, 8 hours, and week, month.
No. But the moving averages, what you got?
Oh, sorry, the MAs. I thought you were talking about the chart. So I use. I forgot actually.
Is it a 5, 9?
It's 8 days.
Yeah. Okay.
And 18. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So what you'd be looking back is for a retracement. There is a good buying point if there is a correction, would be the gap. There's various gaps where you would buy your entry point, where your cursor was just now. There's a gap there, but you would be looking for a pullback, and then understanding what we've said about why Micron Technology is such a good company. You'll be waiting for a pullback, and then what you do is you then want to ride it to the all-time high, basically, and then prior to the all-time high, you'll take some off the table.
This is a cool feature. So be looking at something like
that's
this.
That's a big retracement. That's a big correction. It may not correct to that level. It may not correct to that level because people, and like I say, it's because of the AI. It's not just because it's a cyclical chip stock. It's because the fundamentals on AI technology that
exactly.
The patents. It holds a lot of patents with AI memory, basically.
Yeah, definitely. So that's with Micron. So we'll go to the worst one. We look at IBM. So we go on a larger time frame.
You say worst one. When you look at the long-term one, okay. So on the long-term one, that looks like a down path, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I said. Look, when we look at it, the reason why I don't like Big Blue at the moment is because it's a colossal company. It hasn't really done much for a long time. But
Yeah.
with what you've said about AI, there's no reason, and it's got a big cash pile as well, right? So
Yeah.
there's no
Definitely.
reason why Big Blue can't turn around, right?
Yeah.
Like becoming it was always supplying computer hardware for industry, basically, right? But
Yeah.
now it's supplying something else, and it's transitioning. So you would see that in this graph. So once it starts transitioning,
Yeah.
and there is more talk of it, then to actually say, well, I'll buy a bit of this company right now. If you do
Yeah.
on a shorter time frame, I don't know how it's performed on a shorter time frame, Kiki.
So what I wanted to just to highlight here though is on this monthly is we're at a very key. Well, at the moment it's a support level,
Support level.
obviously, but we're talking about this is in the 2000s, right? And then between 1998 all the way till 2003, 2002. Sorry, this was a very strong resistance level, and then it was only until 2008 that we actually broke above this, and now we've come back down to, and it's becoming a massive support level. So this is a key time. So this could be one. This could be with all the AI stuff. This could be a good time if you are looking into it to purchase. But yeah, so on a smaller, I just wanted to highlight that there.
Good point. That's a very good point, Kiki. Yeah.
And then on the smaller time frame,
Yeah.
this is what we're looking at here. So we've seen we've been since 29th of October this year, 2020, this year we've been continuously going up, and actually that's quite in alignment with how these EV stocks and all these sort of AI utilizing companies have also been going as well. So correlations, you're sort of starting to see in the charts as well, where these companies demand going up. So it's been fairly bullish. I think for me, Martin, the key thing here is at breaking this level. If we go anywhere above this level, then we're looking at some sort of maybe a reversal. And to be honest, we've got, if we just stretch this out a bit, we've got this high. So this is a very key level. So if we are able to reach this, the behaviors that happen here, again, that's not to say I would buy here because we're at the high. But if we are able to break, maybe retest or something, and then go.
Yeah, and then buy.
Yeah, exactly. Completely. But anything else you think on this, on the 4 hour?
No. I think you've said it all on that one.
Cool. So we'll go to the last one, the last chart, which is Nvidia.
Yeah,
so look at
the long-term chart of Nvidia.
Long-term chart first, which is the hockey stick.
The hockey stick, yeah.
The Nike tick, the hockey stick.
Yeah. But you can see, look, guys, you can see that, how well stock, if you pick the right stock, and that's very much in trend, that how it can perform, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, even longer term, Nvidia took AMD hasn't. I don't know if you can get a chart of AMD out, but it hasn't performed as well as in Nvidia.
Is it Advanced Micro Devices, right? AMD?
Yeah, Applied Micro Devices. Yeah.
So that's that on the weekly. That's a comparison.
Yeah. So you can see that again. It's also with AI tech, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll need in going forward in the future. You'll need graphics cards. You'll need hardware, right? So these companies are supplying this hardware, but at the moment, Nvidia's hardware is supposed to be better.
Definitely. Yeah.
And with the chips and everything else, Intel has performed really badly. Intel has done really badly. That's not to say that Intel will eventually turn it around, but AMD's chips and everything else have performed far better, right?
Yeah.
And the applications for the chips, basically.
Yeah.
But again, you're waiting for a pullback on Nvidia, and then you'll be a buyer. So often you want to wait. The best thing to do is to actually understand and have a shopping list, and the best way to talk about it if you're a property investor is that, you found the area that you want to buy in, right? And what you want to do is you're looking for the right price point to enter it, basically.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I mean, here and also
short it. There's definitely, you wouldn't short it. What you would do is, if it breaks that line, then it's going to have a bigger retracement, and you look on a bigger time frame, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree, and that's what I was going to say. So we want to stay cautious here because we've had a bit of a market slowdown. And like you said, if we break this moving average and we come to the opposite side of if we go south, then yeah, we're looking for where this correction will go basically. If you're looking on the smaller time frame, the 4 hour, you see we've been, I would say consolidating, not necessarily.
We have.
So like you can see this box range.
It's within a range. We're in the middle, so you would buy at the bottom of that range, really.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, completely agree. We'll be looking at somewhere here basically. Here, so that's sort of buying range.
Yeah, excellent.
But yeah, so that's that on the chart. So obviously, what I really wanted to stress here is the importance of looking at these charts. It's very, very important. So I could go in, I could be like, well, IBM's done the best in terms of 2.8 billion turnover. I'm going to go and invest in IBM. Now, if your timing is off and your timing isn't right, and you didn't even see this, and it's continued to crash, regardless of how great they're doing. And this is not to say that they're going to do bad or good. This is not to say any of that at all. But this is to say the importance of looking at these charts. Whereas comparing that to if you would have invested in Nvidia, which likely, if that does a retracement, it's got a very good chance of continuing to go up, because in the grand scheme of things, this company has performed on this basis, according to the charts, much better, especially recently. So this is why it's important to know how to read a chart. And I know we actually mentioned, Martin, if there's enough interest, for sure, we will put together a course, a mini course, a good course that will get you basically this sort of vision and
understanding charts. So if you, I mean, especially now, right, you tend to find in the new year, right? And I said to you, I'm a great believer in the FTSE 100, right? I think of all the worldwide indices, the FTSE has been the most underperforming out of all the G7 indices, basically, right? And the main reason why is because of Brexit, and there's the pound. There's all been, so people haven't been buying UK assets, right? UK assets like that. And if you look at what the others have done compared to the UK, it's mind blowing. So I'm expecting the UK to actually pay catch up, right? At first, I want a correction, right? So I could buy some more. Right, I already have shares in the 100, but I want to buy some more. Right, I don't mind. If it's correcting down, it's fine. But I want to buy some more, and I would be a big buyer. So with the Brexit uncertainty, and the way I looked at it is, look, right now the reason why people are in two minds about stocks in the UK, because what if Brexit doesn't go through? Then they're expecting the UK to take a smack, right? But then the positive side is that pound will take a smack as well. And if the pound takes a smack, the FTSE 100 is mainly based off international stocks, not just stocks in the UK. There are
exactly.
UK stocks there, but they're mostly international based, right? One thing that actually I didn't mention, talking about the FTSE, was the fact that I like the miners, right? And going back to the same principle about AI technology and future tech, what you have to consider is what are the raw materials that go into this. And if you look at platinum is very undervalued. And I think if you ask most people out there, what costs more, platinum or gold? Because they are, they've gone to the shops and they've always assumed that platinum costs more than gold. It doesn't. In real terms, platinum is actually cheaper than gold. Right? Platinum is an industrial metal, but for a long, long time, platinum has been sort of like basing. Right? It's been down there, but platinum is beginning to perk up. The reason why it's perking up is because you need platinum in batteries, right? You need platinum in all the industrial applications in electronics as well, right? So it's beginning to perk up. And people suddenly realize, actually, we need platinum. But it's not just platinum. So, when in the future tech that I was going to talk about going forward, that's why the FTSE consists of a lot of miners as well, right? And these guys, there's loads of things, cobalt, nickel, molybdenum. There's loads and loads of stuff, right, that you need. And sometimes it's being in the understanding what you need and then saying, well, actually, that's quite cheap and it may help me in the future, right? So that's why I like the FTSE 100, but I'll talk about that in more detail. But the other thing that I think we were going to do that we have to highlight to people is we're going to do a live event, right? Me and you, Kiki.
It's
and for this live event, we're going to get into shave his beard.
Nah. I think that's where Martin's jealousy is coming in.
Like I said, I'm jealous because if I had my beard, I'll be like Santa Claus, right? I'd just be bloody.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
No, so
But the live event is basically, and I know that Kiki is going to put it out there. It's a live webinar, and it's people don't understand this, but it's going to blow your mind. Did you know you can get a money in, money out deal in stocks and shares?
exactly.
Right? Or a MIMO, as they say, no money down, or money in, money out, or no money down. Right? It's going to blow your mind, right? So tag on to that webinar. I think you have to register on our website, and then we'll send you a link. Is that right, Kiki?
Yeah, so what we'll be doing is it's going to be on the 10th, so next Thursday. Yeah, the time will be confirmed, but we'll put all the marketing material out there this weekend, so you guys can pre-register. You can send in your questions if you have any pre-questions, but it will be live, and you can all join us next Thursday evening. So
and ask questions as well, right? Ask questions as well.
Yep.
And
ask questions.
And when I explained it to my young Padawan there as well, it blew his mind. Again, what? I never thought of it that way. What?
Yeah, trust me.
Infinite returns, infinite returns, no money down, but you've got to get your stock right. You've got to get your buying point right, right?
Yeah.
And if you get those things right, and you've got to, and I'll talk about timing cycles and where we are, and it will really, really blow your mind, right?
Yeah.
And it will create another bow to your string, basically.
100%.
String to your bow. Yes, string to your bow. Yeah.
String to your bow. Yeah, 100%. So that will be released. So you can keep an eye on that and save the date. So next Thursday evening, the time will be confirmed. We will confirm the time. It's going to be a live event. And you have to be there to see it. If you don't, you're going to miss it. So got to make sure you book out that evening. Cool. So on that note, I just want to remind everyone, that challenge is still there. If we can get this video we're doing well. We got to 140. 140 last time, but we're still not there. Remember what we said? 200 for my list and 1,000 for Martin's list. So if you can get it to 1,000,
actually it wasn't, but it's fine. I'll go with that.
So we'll have it. So 1,000 will have Martin's list. Cool. I think that's good. Yeah, so remember to smash the like button. You got to smash the like button.
Otherwise, I'll be back.
Yeah. The Terminator.
Yeah, I don't know where the it is actually.
So smash the like button, because the way the algorithm works, if you don't smash the like button, you're not going to see our videos in your YouTube feed. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If there's any new viewers, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. But do subscribe, and also hit the notification bell because you'll be notified.
Right? We hope you enjoy the way we deliver content to you.
Yeah,
which is not scripted, which is very much thinking like normal investors and what we do. So it's not scripted at all. It's just genuine content. What we're looking at, and we hope you enjoy the different format. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. So until next time, until the next video.
Speak to you later, guys.